Hello, I am here with Jeremy Raison, who is the writer for Wake Me in the Morning. Hello.
Hi.
So, Wake Me in the Morning, do you want to give us an idea about what it's about?
Yeah, it's about a very powerful man and a very famous actress and their collision, both sort of emotionally and in a way politically. But certainly it's a power struggle.
I don't know how much you want to give away, but influenced by real
Yeah, it's set in
people?
early 60s America, influenced by real people, not necessarily about real people, but it sort of tangentially touches on real people's lives. But it's more about the relationship of actually a sort of triumvirate, two men and a woman, than saying this is an autobiography or a biography or whatever of any specific person.
Yeah. And obviously we're familiar with you mostly as a director in Scotland. Have you always written? Or is this a more recent?
Yeah, I've had about 30 plays professionally produced.
That's loads.
So I've had a lot of stuff done. Yeah, I mean I've done a lot of adaptations because I've run theatres.
Yeah.
And I found when you run theatres it's really hard to also write at the same time, just to get the amount of headspace.
Yeah.
And what's been really nice the last couple of years, I've been writing a lot, and it's just you just have more headspace to kind of think about it and really just consider the work. And what's interesting, I've made a choice not to direct this one.
Yeah, so I was gonna.
And I have always directed my own work, but I kind of went, actually I want to see somebody else do it, get a different point of view. It's very hard when you direct your own work.
To get the perspective.
But also actors tend not to say, actually this bit's rubbish, because you're the director as well as the writer. It's very difficult for them, and it's difficult for you to kind of necessarily see. I tend to be slightly over apologetic actually, so you sort of need somebody both to protect your work as well as to say, actually this is a bit long, or we can cut this, or actually no, this bit's really good, or I need a bit more here, or so it's been really good to get somebody else to direct it. It also does give you much more space, you know, if you suddenly go, actually I need to work on a bit of a scene.
Yeah.
I can go and work on a bit of a scene, I don't go, well I've just
got
got to keep directing.
could you take a break and in the lunch hour or late at night?
I've been in that position before where you go, well I just need to rewrite the scene, can we just have half an hour off and I'll try and rewrite it. That's a rush, you know.
Yeah.
And actually it's lovely to just go away, think about it, come back, or even I was away for like 3 or 4 days. And just to come back and just see where they've got to is really useful, because otherwise you get completely bogged down in the minutiae.
Yeah.
And you don't get the overview, and it's quite nice just to come and just go, right, where have they got to?
Yeah.
And it's
to come back in with your writer's brain and look at,
it's fantastic, and it's lovely because when we did a run yesterday, we're doing another run today, but it's lovely to see the director kind of sneaking little looks at me to go, look, this is a bit of direction, this isn't something you've necessarily written.
Yeah.
Do you approve it? Do you like it? You know, and you sort of go, oh, she likes this bit, you know, let's have a look at it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of useful.
Yeah.
The other thing is this is quite a sort of vulnerable play. It's about a very specific woman, and she's put into a very vulnerable situation. I mean, it's a fantastic part for a woman.
Yeah.
But it's been really nice actually to have a woman director as well, because otherwise we'd pretty well be a room full of men plus
and
this
this
one actress.
vulnerable character.
And I think sometimes you just need a balance in the rehearsal room.
Yeah.
And it's something we talked about sort of early on. You know, the director Liz Carruthers said, well, it's just very handy that she's not the only woman in the room.
Yes.
You know, she's asked to do things that are quite difficult in a way.
Yeah, I think it's a really a brilliant but quite challenging role for an actress, because she's a really interesting character, that female character.
She's very vulnerable. You know, there's a scene near the end that's kind of quite shocking, I think. But she sort of has to, whatever is done to her, she has to almost let happen to her, and that's very difficult for an actress to kind of go, okay, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But you see in the performance, you see what its meaning is within the context of the play.
Yeah.
And it's important, you know. It's obviously part of the overall story. But it's difficult. It's sort of quite vulnerable, difficult territory.
Yeah, it is. Be interesting to see. So what else are you working on at the moment, or what other plans have you got in there?
I'm sort of trying to build up a portfolio of writing really at the moment. That's what I've been concentrating on. So I've got a film that I'm writing at the moment, which Creative Scotland supported. So that's kind of happening. It's taking a long time, as film often does. But that's sort of very much sort of on the go. I also went, I want to do something for the first time. And because I sort of got to an age where I've done an awful lot of stuff, and I went, actually I want to just do new things. So one thing I've done is written a children's book, which is part of a series of 5. And at the moment that's literally at the publishers kind of go, right, who's going to publish this? Can we get this published? Can we sell this kind of series of 5?
And what kind of age of
Well, it's a great story, and sort of, I would say Roald Dahl territory,
Right.
sort of, well, sort of, which David Walliams is kind of cornered at the moment. It's a little bit more sophisticated than the David Walliams stuff, so
Right.
just a little bit, but it's sort of similar territory.
Yeah.
Um,
So that's a lot of different genres that you're writing for.
I think, I mean, if you look at the work I did at the Sit, you know, everything was very different and kind of, you know, you can either choose a career where you go, everything is the same in a way, and I go down this one Pharaoh, and
Yeah.
that's what I do, and, you know, that's who I am.
Or you could be
or you
constantly-
sort of,
yeah.
you keep moving, and what I like is just challenging myself, going, obviously each time just going, I'm going to try something new, you know, I'm going to write this, I'm going to write that. I mean, it's interesting, this in a way is sort of a tiny bit Tennessee Williams. In a way, and it's not written specifically as Tennessee Williams, but just in terms of how the main woman is presented. Obviously, Tennessee Williams was very strong on those sort of damaged women. And so there's just tiny reflections of that. So, you know, it's just a side of you where you kind of go, that's what I want to look at. And I just wanted to look at that, you know, that particularly kind of a damaged woman. A woman who's fantastic and everybody thinks she's the most wonderful woman in the world. But at the same time, she's incredibly damaged and she's a complete liability as well. But she just has this, people have an incredible attraction to her, like sort of moths to the flame, but also she has an incredible attraction in a way to death or to sort of disaster, and is sort of in the same way, and she just is, you know, that's what makes her fun. You know, what's difficult for the actress is every single line is different. You can't just go, right, this is the bit where I'm angry, or this is the bit where I'm happy. You just go, this line I'm happy, this line I'm angry, this line I'm drunk. This, you know, it's
also
that
there's
quick.
no real like escape from that because that character's in that place, so everything is kind of a heightened emotion. There's no like, right, this is actually the calm bit before that.
She doesn't get a lot of time to sit around and just enjoy herself.
Yeah.
We were talking about that yesterday. Obviously, because I mean, it's a bit like a Greek tragedy. She talks about Greek tragedy in the story herself, but there's sort of there is a sort of inexorable end that she has to sort of come to in a way. You know, the tragedy is kind of written large.
Yes.
But at the same time, we talked yesterday about actually you have to see the happiness at the beginning to see where it's going and to empathise and to love that particular character. And what was interesting yesterday is, you know, seeing the run was incredibly upsetting, and it sort of catches you because you gradually kind of grow to love this character, and then you go, oh my God, what's happening next? You know, without trying to sort of give it away or say whether it's a happy ending or a sad ending, you know, but it just does really kind of catch you, and she is fragile, she's very vulnerable, you sort of want to love her, at the same time as being very annoyed by her at times. And that's the great joy of it in a way.
Yeah, you don't want to write, complicated characters are the most interesting, so brilliant, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.